My name is Žarko and I will be talking about two things. One is the Media Lab and the other thing is Multimedia Academy. 2 years ago here at this place I was introducing the idea of Multimedia Academy and Media Lab. And I'll try to give you a little bit of history of what we did before and where we are at the moment. And I will do again the invitation at the end to join the partnership with us. So the theme of the Design Week is what is the problem? What we do are the projects, and so we are constantly in a situation where we are asking this question and trying to answer it. In 2011 I was participating in a task force which was responsible to develop the occupational standard, qualification standards and the curriculum for this is a vocational program for the secondary school 4-year program. This is my membership in this task force was a result of our activities at the graphic school in Zagreb. And this is part of the occupational standard for the media technicians. So they are doing the photography, they are doing the sound, they are doing the video, they are doing the motion graphics, they are doing the interactive design, interface design. So what is the problem here? Usually, you often hear this problem that the curricula, formal school curricula, are not adjusted to the labor market requirements. But here, we finished with this, with the occupational standard, with the qualification standard, we developed the curriculum, we are very proud of this curriculum, but there are a couple of problems. The problem is how to implement this. Do we have teachers to implement the curriculum, which has to teach kids in the secondary vocational school how to do the sound capturing, how to do the editing and the video and everything like that? I'm afraid we don't. So that was the problem number one. The problem number two, do we have schools that are well equipped to implement this type of the curriculum? So no, probably the answer is also no, although you would be surprised to see what type of the equipment you can find in some of these schools. Very often not used at all. The problem number three was, do we have the textbooks? So we have the curriculum, what they are going to learn from. And we always say there are plenty of materials available on the internet, but most of these materials are in English. And believe it or not, the secondary school kids in Croatia don't speak that well English to learn from these materials. So the learning materials are also the big problem. For this program, when we started it, the previous program was going on for a couple of years, and there was no one single textbook for this program. So I would say it was kind of improvisation to implement this type of the curriculum. The other members of the task force, we presented this to the ministry as a problem. So we said, okay, this is a problem, and the problem solution is what you do in the project. So in 2012 we got the first EU funding from the Agency for Vocational Education in Croatia, and in 2013 we set up the first media lab. That's the picture from the graphic school in Zagreb. In addition to that, in only 1 year period, we published 3 textbooks for sound, for video, and for photography. In addition to this media lab, we refurnished completely one classroom for 24 students. We did first survey on media literacy in Croatia. We organized international conference, and this is the project that I'm very proud of. And after 10 years, after 10 projects that we did in the meantime, I think that this was the biggest achievement that we did. The second project, which was based on this one, was international project. This was done with our international partners. We are co-founders of the Telecentar Europe, which is now going through the rebranding process, and it's going to be called All Digital. It's a big international community with networks of telecenters and individual telecenters from most of the European countries. Not beyond European Union. So Telecentar Multimedia Academy was an adult education project, and it was funded from the Grundtvig funding for the development of the same type of the learning content. And what we did here, these participants in our project, part of the project in Zagreb, were mainly teachers from the elementary schools. So we said, okay, you need to provide the program and the facilities and everything for the vocational secondary school program, but where you start building this type of the competencies, media information literacy, and we are big advocates to start with this in the elementary school. So these are the elementary school teachers, and as you can see, they are not having a tough time learning from our program. Somebody was talking about intergenerational programs. We also did this intergenerational learning in the Trans-Sea Scouts. The idea was you have the young people who are well equipped with the knowledge of and the competencies of digital technologies, while you have the older population which have quite an experience and can provide content for this. And this is the idea, was to have this intergenerational training where they would work together. In 2014, I received an email from the Faculty of Political Science, from the Professor Kanježar, who was participating in the organization of UNESCO's conference, First European Media Information Literacy in Paris, and asked me if I would have some recommendations for the forum. And this was my recommendation, is to advance content creation across media in multiple forms as a key tool for development of digital economy. And that was the question. This was the kind of chicken or egg question. Where do you start with the content, or you start with the infrastructure? What comes first? So the answer was here in this recommendation that the content is the king. So you start with the content, which stimulates then development of the infrastructures, and the better infrastructure provides the possibility for more multimedia and more advanced multimedia content for using here. And then we said, how do you do this? And the recommendation is to set up a media lab in all cultural and educational institutions. So we strongly believe that media labs belong to all schools, all elementaries, all secondary schools, all universities. You start here by providing, and what is the media lab? The answer would be the facility where you exercise project-based learning. So experiential learning, the learning where you are engaged in the learning process. In 2015, this is a picture from Rovinj. We organized our first summer school in the Rovinj, and as a part of the iProfessional project, it was our first training of trainers program, and we called our trainers e-facilitators, those who can assist in developing digital competencies. This goes both in formal and non-formal education. Telecentar Europe is a network mostly of the non-formal education organization, but we believe that non-formal education is perfect for experimenting. And if you find a successful model, then implementing this into the formal education and implement it on a larger scale. Only then you would have impact. Otherwise, and all these projects that I'm presenting are relatively small projects, and then what we are actually trying to do is to link them together so that we do have the continuity of the program that we are doing. And this this was implemented in a partnership with the Center Mare, which is a beautiful facility at the coast. Meet Grga. What do you think he's doing? What kids are doing on computers? Playing games. No, actually he's coding game. So this was part of our Get Online Week is an annual campaign that we are doing together at the Telecentar Europe, and during this week we were doing the game lab. And he was, I think, 7 at the time. So it works. You know, so this is part of the media literacy of the 21st century. We are back in Rovinj in 2016. This is media hackathon that we did where we're working with international staff partners to produce the promo materials for our Multimedia Academy. We are doing both. We are working on the frameworks, on the curriculum, and testing this. And then based on the test, we introduced this into the formal education. This was a project which we did together with the higher education institution, private college, Algebra, and University North. And here was the problem, and this is the problem actually that is the biggest challenge of multimedia education. Is multimedia education engineering education, or is it art? And there is this interdisciplinary answer, which I'm in favor of, but at the moment it is the most difficult type of the program that you get approval from the official authorities. We travel also. This is in Barcelona. This is Daniel. Meet Daniel. This is part of the project where this is still going on, the project on mobile journalism. The mobile journalism is something that you can implement directly in professional production, but we see mobile journalism as a perfect tool for education. So we are experimenting by using the equipment. Actually, we are all carrying the very powerful computers in our pockets, which are at the same time powerful media equipment. Refugees. This is a topic that is going to stay for a while in Europe for sure. And we did this, this was a small scale project where we actually didn't work. The idea was to work with youth, to make them involved and with the tough topics, which they don't face in their formal curriculum. And so they were exposed to also the multimedia training, but dealing with the themes of the refugees and refugee problems. And most of these participants came from Spain and from Belgium, and they had this. They are coming from the immigrants' families previously, so they have some kind of connection with this topic. This is very, for us, very important because Telecentar was actually established as a part, the spin-off of the project of the Southeast European Refugee Assistance Network. So we do have a history of refugees, and I was in charge of the project that was dealing with 400,000 refugees and displaced in Croatia, working in a relief program. So maybe in Croatia we should remember this period of time. Coding and mobile devices. If you think photography, audio, graphics, is complicated, you have to add into the equation coding, and then you are facing the serious problem. This is a picture from last month, this month maybe, yeah, from the graphic school in Zagreb. So we are back there, you know, and working with kids who are having the web design programs, having a problem with teachers who do not have much of experience with coding, and web design is very much about coding these days. So we are actually re-establishing our partnership where we want to have more capacity building for them in order to implement this new type of the programs. And this is the last slide. This is Cultural Center Croatian stage of the theater, there where we are now partnering and opening our second media lab. And this is this invitation for the for you to come and join and come to the Cultural Center Trešnjevka, where we are going to work on new projects. Part of this media lab actually is a project lab where we are inviting our partners to join combination of education for the concrete project and concrete project proposals for the funding that is in the pipeline for Croatian European Social Fund or international partnership through the Erasmus Plus of projects like that. So, thank you very much.